Google is since 2014 and through 2019, and the 4, 5, 6 years that they've been tracking these numbers, in terms of workforce representation, I can say this: for neither group, Black or Latino, have they moved above 1%. Right? There has not been growth above 1%. I'm saying our goal is that by the end of 2025, in not a workforce representation, but a new hire representation, because that's what you have to affect. If you get new hires and you can raise them to these levels, then you can fight one, the fact that there's low representation, or to start off with, but also the attrition, because I bet you there's a lot of homies that get in. Oh, not a lot, but a lot of the ones that do get in, they get hit with that culture shock. It's a whole different ballgame. And let me tell you, because I had that culture shock when I went to college, right? It's like you didn't realize how poor you were until you went to college, where you're surrounded by middle class, kids for the most part, or more successful working class than your parents were, right? And so you're like, oh shit, this is all taken for granted stuff that I look at as like, whoa, wow, you have one of those, right? And so the attrition rates are tough, but those are high, right? And so the few that get in, fewer are kept, right? Fewer are kept because people come in and it's a whole different culture than they're used to being surrounded, or immersed in. Like, this is not for me. And then they still go and succeed someplace else, but they're not working for the companies that are going to pay enough for them to be able to afford to live where they already live, that they can't live in anymore because they're getting booted out. This is all a vicious cycle. Alrighty, and so the numbers that I've selected here, 13% for uh, African American and 18% for Latino, that's just US population representation, right? So my whole thing is, it's all arbitrary. So let me just pick, okay, if there's, because it's all about diversification. Well, if we're going to diversify, I'm sure the benchmark, the easiest one, maybe it's the wrong one, but the easiest one is, well, if African Americans make up 13% of the US population and Google's trying to diversify and have a representative workforce of that diversity, then let's aim for 13% of all new hires. Same thing with Latinos. If Latinos make 18% of the US population by ethnicity, then hell, let's just shoot for 18% of the Google new hires uh, in 2025. That's our goal. We're going to get that good by then. We're going to have that kind of impact. And we're not going to tell Google what to do. We're just going to prepare them, the kids that we work with, to be undeniably qualified so that they're going to apply in droves and they're going to be good enough, smart enough, prepared enough, groomed, there's some grooming involved, so that these goals, these goals can be met. And if at that point there's no movement, then we can say, Google, maybe you need to look at yourself. But right now, we can't even do that. Right now, it's about, let's look at ourselves, working class people, African American, Latino, white people. I don't care. It's working class. To me, it's people that I respect, people that know how to work, people that work hard. Right. That's our goal. And so, what are we gonna do with these kids? Well, there's many components to this plan. It's not overnight. Let's see what I want to show you. So I'm going to move on to the plan. Man, I could talk forever. I'm a talker. All right. Okay, so here's the plan. All right. So, all right, the plan is, we're partnering up. So, we're not going to start from scratch because it's already going to take long enough with this plan. Although maybe not. I think that all we need is a few success stories and we're going to have a lot of believers. But then The developers, the politicians, the churches, and all the snakes are going to come out, try to hop on board. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The point is, we're aware, right? That's going to come for sure. And you can't say the wrong thing because then some donors are going to be offended. It's life, right? So it's you know, but we know what we're up against. We know what we're trying to do. But moving right along. All right, so I got some things wrong. Okay, there we go. Okay, so our plan is I would say 5 to 7 year plan at least, but I would say 5 to 7 to get this first original plan fully implemented. To say we have alumni that have exited our program, have completed, you know, all facets, are meeting the expectations that we aspire, you know, for them to meet. And so this plan, you know, is going to be done in partnership with other organizations, right? So organizations that have longstanding, current relationships already in the communities that we want to work in, and you know, been successful or not, that's up for debate. But the idea is that they're present, they're credible, and so I live in Westchester, right next to Inglewood. Inglewood's where I taught. It's where I lived. It's where I met my wife. It's where I have family. Uh, Tons of alumni from the district that were my students, and so you know, I'm vested in the success of Inglewood. You know, I want to buy a home in Inglewood, right? I want to be able to say I send my kids to Inglewood schools, and so you know, that's first. You know, that's one of our partners, Inglewood Unified School District. Uh, or we're working towards becoming partners. We're not, you know, official yet, but you know, I've consulted in Inglewood before, and so I think that, you know, we can rekindle those relationships. We're in the process of talking already. There's LA South Bay Football Club. That's one of the organizations that, you know, I'm very in tune with. That and there we are official. We've been working together for, you know, almost 8 months now, but we've worked together before. And then there's Pura Técnica Football, right? And so these are organizations that have all worked in Inglewood, you know, with the Inglewood Unified School District, and then they work with others also from within Inglewood or, you know, surrounding cities. And but the goal, the plan goes like this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to engage the youth, right? We know that if we hook the youth with something that's good for them, then the parents will be hooked. Why wouldn't they be, right? They'll get on board, and it has to be so attractive that, you know, and beneficial, I guess is the real word, that parents are going to be compelled. Well, actually, let's put it this way: if the kids are so attracted to it, they're not going to want to leave it for anything else. They're not going to want to. They're not going to get bored with it. They're not going to, you know, give their parents any cause for taking them out of the program. And we know for a fact, this is from years of teaching, working, coaching, and everything in Inglewood, that soccer is the sport of choice. It's, you know, it's healthy, it's good recreation, it builds all kinds of has all kinds of good character outcomes. Uh, it's team building. It teaches, you know, the kids how to collaborate. There's tons of life lessons that come from playing soccer. But it's just, you know, it's what people are watching Saturday and Sunday at home. You know, a large portion of it, because a large portion of the community in Inglewood is Latino, you know, primarily Mexican and Central American, and what they love is soccer, right? And there's just such a hunger for high quality soccer leagues, soccer teams, soccer coaches here in Inglewood and in the neighboring cities here in the South Bay, because it's poorly funded, uh, non-affiliated, you know, leagues and teams. You know, they're not, you know, applying the highest standards. A lot of it is about the income. It's not about the development of community, not about the development of great soccer players, or not development of professionals or professional teams. It's just about, it's a business for people. It's their small business, and it might even be their side gig, their Saturday league, and so they're not